With that, I extend very warm welcome to the honorable speaker for this session, and to Gautam, and to every one of you, the dear participants. And Ravi is all ready for, so I think I go on to Dr. Jakar. He is somebody who always extends very warm welcome, and once he does it all, so the ball starts rolling. So Dr. Jakar, over to you to please formally welcome
Thank you.
and the speaker and all the participants in this session.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Good afternoon, all of you. I formally welcome Dr. Gautam Kumar Meghvanshi ji, professor in Maharaja Ganga Singh University, Bikaner. And thank you, Professor Gautam Kumar ji, for accepting our invitation and spared some valuable time for this session. And I hope his talk will be very beneficial and fruitful for the participants. And I also welcome all the participants who are connected for this session. Thank you. Over to Professor Satha.
Thank you, Dr. Jakar, for extending warm welcome to the speaker and to all participants. Now, may I request Dr. Ravi to please introduce the speaker to the participants and to us all.
Yes, sir.
Ravi, please.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir, for giving me the opportunity to introduce the speaker for this session. Dr. Gautam Kumar Meghvanshi is presently working as assistant professor in the Department of Microbiology, Maharaja Ganga Singh University, Bikaner. He has done his PhD from the Department of Microbiology, Delhi University South Campus. His main expertise in the enzyme technology. He has worked on the different microbial enzymes like lipase, protease, tannins, and milk clotting protease from bacterial and the fungal sources, their production and downstream processing. Besides enzymes, he has dealt with fermentation of succinic and lactic acids and 1,3-propane-diol and the production of the xylitol. He also has the experience of enzyme-mediated biotransformation, important among these are the selective acylation of the nucleosides of the for the synthesis of modified oligonucleotides, synthesis of flavor and fragrance esters, synthesis of food compatible emulsifier and biosurfactants. He has one Indian patent and various research papers in his credits, and at present he is working mainly in the field of enzyme technologies. And he is working on the project bioprospecting for novel microbial lipase from desert ecosystem of Rajasthan, the Thar Desert, and the fast track project sponsored by Sir DST. He is also working on the more projects like screening of the microbial lipase for the transesterification of vegetable oils for biodiesel production, isolation of identification of aromatic cultures for fermented products, screening and optimization of fermentation process for the production of microbial amylase and microbial creatinase, etc. So this is the brief introduction, and I hope you will all enjoy this session. Now over to Satan sir.
Thank you, Dr. Ravi, for doing this honor of introducing the speaker to us all. With that, I once again welcome you, Dr. Meghvanshi, Dr. Gautam Kumar. You may now start your session, please.
Thank you.
Dr. Kumar.
A very good afternoon to the organizers of this online training program on environmental crisis and sustainable development. I am grateful to patrons Dr. Satish Kumar, Director NIT Kurukshetra, Dr. J.B. Bambu, Principal, Engineering College Bikaner, and conveners, Professor Sathans, Dr. Gopi Jakar, and coordinators of this program, Professor Surinder Deswal, Dr. H.D. Chalak, Dr. Praveen Purohit, Mr. Prashant Bhagar, and Mr. Nikhil Garg. And I'm all the participants who are there attending this program. So, the topic of my talk is application of microbial lipases in biodiesel production using waste feeding oil. So I will start my talk with a brief introduction on enzymes. Enzymes are basically biocatalysts because they are produced by all living beings like plants, animals, and microorganisms. However, I would like to emphasize here that enzymes from microbial sources are of industrial relevance and industrial importance because they can be produced in the desired quantity using the process of fermentation that can be scaled up to any desired level, which is not possible with animals and plants because their life cycle is also very long. If we compare with microorganisms, the life cycle of microorganisms is very short. It is of certain hours. Say, for example, Escherichia coli is the most frequently used source of recombinant proteins and enzymes whose life cycle is of 24 hours. So after 24 hours, we can get the desired product out of the fermentation vessel. So enzymes are highly selective with respect to chemo and regio selective across a diverse range of conditions. They provide us with shorter synthesis routes such high selectivity is desirable in pharmaceutical synthesis and also in chemosynthetic processes as it offers advantages such as minimizing side reactions, not requiring protection and reprotection steps, and thus enabling the shorter synthesis routes. In a simple manner, we can say that enzymes are able to minimize the reaction step because they are highly specific for the substrate on which they act, and thereby the product which they are producing is also specific. So the production of side products or byproducts is very, very less or minimal, or sometimes there are no byproducts formed by the enzymatic reactions. So the routes themselves, the synthetic routes using enzymes themselves become very short. Enzymes are also environmental friendly. Biocatalysts provide a technology that is environmentally safer and it effectively reduces the level of waste and even eliminates the waste generation rather than remediation and disposal of waste at the end of the process. As I have already discussed in the second point of this slide, that is shorter synthesis routes. This is directly connected to the environmental friendly nature of enzymes because the enzymes as such, when they are carrying out any biocatalytic reaction or even the reaction in the laboratory conditions, the products which they are producing are specific. It means the byproducts which are produced are not are less or not overall there. So the purification of the product becomes very simple. The purification steps which are involved in the recovery of the product of the reaction mixture becomes simple, and the less number of steps means there will be less generation of waste, which ultimately has to be disposed into the environment, and there it will cause its disastrous effects. So such a disastrous effect is not associated with the enzyme-based reaction processes. Enzymes use green chemistry approach. Biocatalysts have attractive features in the context of green chemistry and sustainable development. They are renewable and non-hazardous. As I have already said, biocatalysts like enzymes are normally derived from renewable sources like microorganisms, and they are biocompatible, biodegradable, and essentially non-hazardous. Enzymes are made up of proteins. So proteins are of biological origin as like enzymes, and they have a certain life period. They do not exist in the environment for a very long time. So after our process is over, they can easily be degraded and can be get rid of. And basically, because they are of biological nature, they are biodegradable in nature, so are essentially non-hazardous to the environment. Then enzymatic processes are economical also. Biocatalysts avoid the use of precious metals like palladium, platinum, and rhodium, which can contaminate the product and make the product recovery difficult. So this is not the problem associated with enzymes, because enzymes sometimes what happens, they are getting degraded Once the process is over, so the problem is not there with their persistence in the product also. Otherwise, enzymes can be immobilized. And immobilized enzymes are generally used at the industrial scale, where the products, after the formation of the product, the recovery of the product, the removal of the enzyme from the reactor is easy as compared to the free enzymatic forms. Cost savings. Enzymatic processes can be conducted in standard multi-purpose batch reactors and hence do not require any extra investment for high pressure reactors. Normally, the industrial processes which are based on chemicals, chemical catalysts, they require specific specific reactors which are compatible with they are resistant to acids, alkali, and they can operate at high temperature as well as under high pressure conditions. These parameters or factors are normally not associated with the enzymatic processes because enzymes normally act at ambient environmental conditions because they are originated in the living beings. So in the living system, the temperature of the body as of a human being, we can say it is 37 degrees Celsius, and our body's pH is near neutral. And our enzymes are adapted to work under the atmospheric pressure conditions. So thereby the reactor which is designed for carrying out enzymatic reactions does not have to be have special features, as I have already discussed for the chemical reactors, where the requirement of high tolerance to temperature, extreme of pH, and high pressure is there, but that is not the case in the case of enzymatic reactors. So we can save the cost in terms of the machinery which is required, which is used for carrying out the enzymatic processes. High availability. Now, enzymes are normally produced by recombinant microorganisms. So, what are these recombinant microorganisms? These are basically those bacteria or yeast systems in which the foreign gene, the gene which is responsible for the production of enzyme of interest, is cloned into that bacterium or fungi or yeast, and there, by the help of genetic engineering, the protein is produced in very high quantity. So the cost of protein itself becomes less because the productivity has been increased. Reusable. Now, development of efficient immobilization techniques and reusability of biocatalysts over many cycles has provided highly economical and energy efficient processes. Normally, the enzymes which are used at industrial scale for the production of different commodities, they are immobilized on certain matrices and materials which enhances the life of enzymes, and they also increase the resistance of enzymes against the adverse reaction conditions like high temperature, extreme of pH, etc. So thereby, after immobilization, the same enzyme can be used for carrying out a number of reaction cycles, which is normally is not possible with the free enzyme. So immobilization has provided us with the option to use the enzyme for multiple times. So this also results in cost saving, and efficiency of the process also increases. Enormous variety. Now, advances in molecular cloning, random and directed evolution of biocatalysts has opened up unlimited access to a variety of enzymes and microbial cultures as tools in organic synthesis. So because of the availability of molecular cloning techniques, now it is possible for us to clone the enzyme from any source, whether it is from plant, it is from animals, it is from extremophilic organisms like archaea, or any organism, which otherwise is difficult to cultivate or grow in under the laboratory conditions. So we have the option. So the variety of enzymes which is existing in nature is enormous. So that variety is now available to us for using it to carry out different and various kind of reactions. Now we can make a comparison between chemical versus enzymatic processes. Chemical processes are have relatively slow reaction rates as compared to enzymatic processes. Chemical catalysts like sulfuric acid, paratoluene sulfonic acid, or alkali catalysts like calcium, sodium, potassium hydroxides are generally used for carrying out the biodiesel production, whereas enzymes like lipases are used for carrying out the production of biodiesels. Typical reaction times are greater than 10 hours in the case of chemical reactions, whereas enzymatic reactions have a wide range of reaction time that is from 1 to 24 hours. Temperature in chemical reactions is generally above 100 degrees Celsius, whereas enzymatic reactions operate at ambient temperature, which is well below 100 degrees Celsius. pH in the case of chemical reactions is either acidic or alkaline, normally, generally, but in the case of enzymes, it is near neutral. Now, chemical processes generally operate under high pressure. That is not the case with enzymatic process. They can operate under atmospheric pressure. Specificity in the case of chemical reactions is less or non-specific, whereas enzymatic reactions are highly specific. Lot of waste or byproducts are generated in the case of chemical reactions, but in the case of enzymatic reactions, less or no waste or byproducts are generated. Removal of chemical catalyst from the reaction mixture is difficult. However, in the case of enzymatic catalyst, removal is easy. Waste and byproducts is hazardous and unsafe for organisms in the case of chemical reactions, whereas enzymatic reactions result in waste or byproducts that is non-hazardous and safe to dispose and not harmful to the living beings. Now, a brief introduction about the enzyme lipase, which has been used for carrying out the biodiesel production, which will be discussed in this presentation. So, lipases are basically triacyl glycerol acyl hydrolases, which catalyze the hydrolysis and synthesis of esters of glycerol and long chain fatty acids. These show important catalytic properties of chemo, regio, and enantiomer selectivity. As is the case of other enzymes also, this is a typical reaction which is carried out by lipases. So, in the reaction, the starting molecule is a triglyceride molecule, which is generally known as oil or fat. This, with the help of lipase and in the presence of water, is hydrolyzed to produce triglyceride and fatty acids. Subsequently, the triglyceride is also hydrolyzed by lipase, resulting in the formation of monoglyceride and fatty acids. And finally, the monoglyceride is also hydrolyzed to produce the fatty acids and glycerol. This is a reaction which is carried out in the presence of water. However, under the microaqueous conditions, this is a reversible reaction, where synthesis of triglycerides can be carried out with fatty acids and glycerol in the presence of lipase. So, this is a typical reaction which is carried out by the lipase enzyme. These are the multiple applications of the enzyme lipase in different industries, starting from oleochemistry, detergents, pharmaceuticals, agrochemicals, wastewater treatment, leather processing, pulp and paper industry, polymer synthesis, organic synthesis, food and dairy. So these are some of the applications which are carried out by the enzyme lipase. Now, a brief introduction about the biodiesel. Chemically, biodiesel is a fatty acid alkyl ester, which can be synthesized by chemical reactions. Chemical reaction between alcohol, that is methanol, ethanol, or even butanol and propanol has been used as the alcohol, and oil or fat, which includes vegetable oils, animal fats like lard, tallow, kitchen waste, that is mainly rich in oil, insect and microalgal oils, in the presence of a suitable catalyst like a alkali or acid or an enzyme. Catalysts investigated for transesterification are either acids, bases, both liquid and heterogeneous, as well as free or immobilized enzymes have been used for the production of biodiesel from oils and alcohols. Lipases have been used for catalyzing the synthesis of biodiesel. Current industrial processes for biodiesel production use either alkali, that is like KOH or NaOH, or acid like hydrochloric acid, sulfuric acid, or phosphoric acid as catalysts. Both these chemicals are efficient catalysts for the synthesis of biodiesel from fresh vegetable oils and alcohol. Both these chemicals is acid or alkali, that is various acids and alkali which have been described, which have been discussed in the previous slide. However, when it comes to the use of spent on waste vegetable oils as substrates for biodiesel production using alkali or acid as catalyst, the conversions obtained are poor. The reason is that used or spent vegetable oils are rich in free fatty acids, and both alkali and acid are poor catalysts to carry out the efficient production of biodiesel from the used oils. The reason is that biodiesel can be produced in two ways. The first way is we can use fresh vegetable oils which can be esterified to alcohol. And here the acid catalysts, alkali catalysts are equally good. They can carry out the process of transesterification that will result in the production of biodiesel. However, in the case of spent or waste of vegetable oils, these are rich in free fatty acids. And alkali specifically and also acid, they are poor catalyst when they have to esterify free fatty acids to the alcohol moiety. Whereas lipases have the ability to carry out both the reactions. They have the ability to carry out transesterification reaction as well as the esterification reaction. So transesterification is the reaction between triglycerides of vegetable oils and the alcohol, whereas esterification is the reaction between free fatty acids and the alcohol. Lipases, like other enzymes, act under mild reaction conditions. For example, temperature well below 100 degrees Celsius, ambient pressure, and near neutral pH are sufficient for the lipase-based reactions. These features associated with lipase-based biodiesel production points out towards the easy scale-up of the process, and also about the energy conservation and environmental safety, and thus achieving the green chemistry goal as well. Other advantages which are associated with lipases for biodiesel are as follows. Lipases are more compatible with variations in the quality of the raw material and are reusable. Raw material is here specifically refers to the quality of the oil which we are going to use for the production of biodiesel. So different kind of oils, whether it is a fresh oil, it is used oil, it is plant oil, or it is a kitchen waste, or it is a restaurant grease, all can equally be used by lipases, efficiently be used by lipases for the production of biodiesel. They are able to produce biodiesel in fewer process steps using less energy and with drastically reduced amount of wastewater. They are able to improve product separation to yield a higher quality of glycerol. Also, it is to be mentioned here the quality of glycerol which is obtained by lipase-based process for the production of biodiesel is better as compared to the processes which are based on chemicals, because the glycerol which is produced does not get contaminated with either acid or as is in the case of chemical-based methods for the production of biodiesel. Now here a comparison has been made for the biodiesel production using different lipases. So in the first column, you can see the lipase from Pseudomonas fluorescens. This is a bacterial lipase. Here the oil used is soybean oil. Alcohol which is esterified to oil is methanol, and the yield of the process is 90%. And the conditions and observations are as follows. The temperature for reaction was maintained at 35 degrees Celsius, and the molar ratio of alcohol to oil was 3:1, and the alcohol was added in 3 steps. The reaction time was 90 hours, and it was under shaking conditions. The reaction was carried out under shaking conditions at an rotation RPM of 150. That is 150 rotations per minute. Another lipase is from Pseudomonas cepacia, and here also the oil and alcohol used are same. That is soybean oil and methanol. The yield here is greater than 80%, and the reaction conditions are same as mentioned above. Another lipase is from Candida rugosa. It is an yeast lipase, And here also the substrates used are same as in the case above cases, and the yield is 90%, and the reaction conditions are also same as mentioned above. Another lipase is for Thermomyces aeruginosa. This is a thermophilic lipase because this is a thermophilic organism. Here the oil used is sunflower oil, and it was esterified to methanol. The conversions obtained was 60% or 60%, and the reaction conditions are 40 degrees Celsius, 200 rotations per minute, and molar ratio of alcohol to oil is close to 1, and this was added in 4 steps. And the enzyme was used at 10% weight based on the oil weight, and the reaction time was 24 hours. Still another lipase is porcine pancreatic lipase. This is a lipase that obtained from animal. However, as I have discussed earlier, the gene which is responsible for the production of this enzyme has been overexpressed in Escherichia coli, and from there only the lipases are obtained, formulated, and then used for various kind of reactions. So in this case, the oil is Babusu oil, and the alcohol here used is butanol. Here the conversions are very good, that is 95%. The reaction temperatures range from 40 to 50 degrees Celsius, and the shaking was maintained at 150 rpm. The molar ratio of alcohol to oil was 10:1, and 20% of total substrate. The enzyme was 20% by weight of the total substrate. So these are the conditions which are mentioned in the literature for the use of various different kind of microbial lipases for the production of biodiesel. Now another lipase has been used from Candida antarctica, and here animal fat is used, tallow, and alcohol is methanol. Here 74% it was obtained. Temperature here was 30 degrees Celsius, and shaking the food at RPM was maintained. And the alcohol was added in 3 steps, and the molar ratio of alcohol to tallow was 3:1, and the enzyme was 10% of the weight of the oil. And the reaction time was 72 hours. Then in another case, 2 lipases have been used. One is from Pseudomonas cepacia, and this was mixed with the lipase of Candida antarctica. And the oil was restaurant grease, and ethanol, 95% of ethanol was used as an acyl acceptor, wherein greater than 96% yield was of biodiesel was obtained, and the reaction conditions are 35 degrees Celsius, 200 rpm, 4:1 molar ratio of alcohol to oil, 5 weight percent enzyme based on oil weight, respectively, and addition of Candida antarctica after 1 hour. The Candida antarctica lipase was added after 1 hour of the reaction, and the overall reaction was carried out for 24 hours. Still another combination is of the lipase of Rhizopus oryzae with that of Candida rugosa, and the substrate here are oil is soybean oil and alcohol is methanol. Here greater than 99% biodiesel yield was obtained, and the temperature, the reaction conditions are as 45 degrees Celsius temperature, 200 rotations per minute, and 4.5:1 molar ratio of alcohol to oil. This was added in 10 steps, and enzyme was maintained at 30% weight of the substrate, that is the oil, and 10% weight water. Immobilized on silica. The enzyme was an immobilized enzyme on silica gel, and 1 weight% of Rhizopus oryzae lipase was used here, and 1 weight% of Candida rugosa lipase was used for 21 hours. Still another combination of lipases is Thermomyces aeruginosa lipase. This was used with Candida antarctica lipase. The oil used here was rapeseed and waste oil. This was reacted to methanol. Here 95% yield was obtained. The temperature of the reaction conditions at temperature was 35 degrees Celsius, 130 rpm. Alcohol to oil ratio was 4:1, and other conditions are use of tertiary butanol as a solvent, and the ratio of tertiary butanol to oil was 1:1, and 3 weight% was Thermomyces aeruginosa lipase and 100% was of Candida antarctica lipase. And the total reaction time was 12 hours. So here the reaction time is also decreased in this particular combination, and the quantity of enzyme used is also less. So by using a combination of two enzymes, the process has become more efficient when it is compared to the single enzyme. Now, why we have chosen to use this enzymatic process of biodiesel production is that Bikaner is up more than 200 food production industries, and gallons of used or spent vegetable oils are produced every day. The spent oil cannot be used for the production of more food products as per the good manufacturing practices. However, it can be used in non-food applications such as the production of food cakes, biodiesel, glycerine, margarine, animal feed, etc. So, because we are used oil available in the Bikaner city, we have thought of using this oil to produce an important commodity or important product like biodiesel, which can be used in vehicles as well as other industries. Worldwide, vegetable oils have been seen as important alternatives to diesel oil since they are renewable and can be produced easily using the arable land. The inventor of diesel engine, Rudolf Diesel, confidently predicted that the plant-based oils would be widely used to operate diesel engines. Significance of Rudolf's statement has been well recognized among the scientific community, and the biodiesel research has been taken up with great enthusiasm in different countries, and India is not behind in other industries, other countries. Now, according to 2017 statistics given on the statistical portal, the global biodiesel production has been led by USA, which is producing 6 billion liters of biodiesel. This is followed by Brazil, which produces 4.3 liters of biodiesel. And this is followed by Germany, which produces 3.5 billion liters of biodiesel. Then Argentina, 3.3 billion liters of biodiesel. Indonesia, 2.5 billion liters of biodiesel. France, 2.3 billion liters of biodiesel. Thailand, 1.4 billion liters of biodiesel. And Spain, 1.3 billion liters of biodiesel. Although biodiesel refers to fatty acid esters of both methanol and ethanol, however, researchers have given more focus to fatty acid methyl and methanol, fatty acid esters of methanol, that is FAME, then FAE. So here the focus of discussion shall be confined to FAME. Now, advantages of biodiesel over the conventional diesel, which is there in use in different automobiles and also in industries. There are several advantages of biodiesel as an alternative to conventional fossil-based biodiesel. First is it decreases dependency on foreign energy supply, which is based on declining fossil fuel resources. It helps in reducing global warming by using renewable biofuels for the transport sector as well as factories. It also helps in lowering emissions of particles, sulfur, carbon monoxide, and hydrocarbons by automobiles. So here we can see because the biodiesel causes less contamination, less pollution of carbon monoxide, the greenhouse effect is also reduced when we are using biodiesel as compared to the fossil-based diesel. Biodiesel can be produced from fat, lard, that is animal fat, tallow, that is also animal fat, and vegetable oils. These mixtures of fatty acids and triglycerides need to be chemically altered to fatty acid alkyl esters, that are known as FAE, to be useful as biodiesel fuel for currently used diesel engines. Now we come to the biodiesel production. Conversion of substrates, that is the oils, to biodiesel has been observed in the range of 88% to greater than 98% using lipases, which is similar to the conversion obtained with chemical catalysts. However, lipases provide one additional benefit of environmentally benign processes that operate under mild reaction conditions. It is temperature below 100 degrees Celsius, pH near neutral, and normal atmospheric pressure. This circumvents the requirement of costly corrosion-resistant equipments and enables substantial cost saving in terms of no energy requirement and no waste disposal problems. Worldwide, various vegetable oils are being considered as fuel substitute in the engines. These include Karanja oil, cottonseed oil, rice bran oil, sunflower oil, soybean oil, rapeseed oil, maduka, latifolia oil, jatropha oil, etc. However, the major obstacle in the commercialization of biodiesel is the cost of production, which relies mainly on the oil substrate, which is not cost effective to use. Under the current scenario, the environmental pollution and developing a commercially feasible biodiesel production technology, waste cooking oils have been reported as sustainable substitutes for fresh vegetable oils. This is a typical reaction scheme industrial production process. This is a traditional biodiesel process, then acidic pretreatment step followed by alkaline catalysis. So this is a bioreactor which is being fed with oil, which is having free fatty acids also. Another substance, methanol, is also added here, and to this sulfuric acid is added. This is a acidic pretreatment process. Because as we know, the spent oil or used oil is very rich in free fatty acids. So before this pretreatment step is important because this reduces the free fatty acid content in the oil as well as it also precipitates the other impurities which are there in the used oil. So this first step reduces the acidity of the oil. Thereafter, after the treatment, this moves to the container B, which is basically a separator. That is a centrifugal dip or a decanter. Here in the centrifuge, the reaction mixture is centrifuged, which results in settling of the water and sulfuric acid, and this is directly passed to the vessel D, which is our product purification and alcohol recovery container or vessel. Now from here, the upper reaction mixture, which is free from acid and water, is moved on to the next reactor. Here, methanol and sodium hydroxide, which is the catalyst for the production of biodiesel, is added. This results in the formation of biodiesel. Now, the whole reaction mixture, which is composed of biodiesel, glycerol, as well as water, is moved into another separator, that is a centrifuge or decanter. Here again, by the activity of centrifugation, biodiesel is separated from glycerol and water. The glycerol and water as well as unused methanol are moved to the vessel D here at the base, and this is again fed to the vessel A here. Now from here, the upper purified product, which is free from methanol, glycerol, and salt, is moved into the D vessel, which is our product purification and alcohol recovery vessel. Here, to this particular vessel, we are adding water. This water as well as sulfuric acid. The sulfuric acid is added to neutralize the excess alkali which is there, which is left over, which is there after the reaction has been completed, so that the biodiesel's pH comes to normal, that is neutral. After that, excessive washing is done with the help of water, and water carries along with it salt and glycerol, and this is from here, from the bottom, this is sent to vessel D, and the pure diesel is moved to the vessel D here, which is containing biodiesel. This is a typical enzymatic process which is an ideal process that can be used for the production of biodiesel using lipase. Here we are using enzyme as the catalyst, that is the lipase, and as substrates we are having oil, that is free fatty acids also, and alcohol. Here the enzymatic biodiesel conversion, biodiesel production is carried out, and thereafter from the bottom of the reactor we are moving whole reaction mixture into this C compartment, which is our filter. This filter actually removes unreacted oil, enzymes and alcohol and send them back to the reactor, the main reactor where the biodiesel production is being carried out. Thereafter, the remaining of the reaction mixture is sent to this decanter, that is our centrifuge. This separates glycerol and remaining alcohol, that is methanol, from the reaction mixture and the biodiesel next line. Here, from here, the glycerol and alcohol are again fed back into the reactor A using this line. When comparing both, you can see the chemical-based process requires a lot of equipments, and it is a multi-step process. It requires two reactors for carrying out the production of biodiesel, and also there are requirements to other vessels. Two of decanters or centrifuges are required. Whereas in the case of enzymatic process, the requirement of equipment is less. So the process itself, in terms of input on the equipments, becomes cost effective. This is a typical biological process which is used for the production of lipase and its application in different industries and also for the production of biodiesel. So we start from here. This is the bacteria that are here, which are first cultivated into a conical class to seed culture. Once the organism, the bacterium, has divided and increased its number into the seed, this is transferred into the production culture. This is also in the shape class. However, in this conical class, we perform the process of fermentation, process development, and optimization. Once the process development and optimization has been carried out, then the process is translated into a fermenter. Here, the production of a particular metabolite or enzyme from this bacterium can be, or any other bacterium, can be carried out as per our requirement, as per our desired volume of the enzyme which we need. Once the enzyme has been produced, it is subjected to centrifugation. This results in separation of biomass, that is bacterial cells, settles on the bottom of the centrifuge tube, whereas the supernatant, which contains the extracellular enzyme, this is normally lyophilized for organic synthetic reactions. However, the liquid enzyme can also be used. Specifically for the biodiesel reaction, we can use either lyophilized enzyme as well as the liquid enzyme. Both options are available with us. This is how we see the lipase activity on the battery plate. This is a battery plate which is having a lipase specific medium, known as tributyl medium. So these are the bacterial colonies. We say colonies, basically these are a number of bacterial cells growing from a single point. So they become visible to the naked eyes because the mass and number of cells are there. So these particular bacterial colonies are lipase producing because they have cleared the triglyceride substrate, it is tributylene, which is there in the vicinity of these colonies. So these clear halos are indicators of lipase production, whereas these two bacteria are not, these are lipase efficient, or we can say these do not produce lipase. So this is a typical reaction scheme which we have used for the production of biodiesel using the lactic acid. So we have used 9.65 gram of waste cottonseed oil. To this we have 25 gram of methanol, and to this we have 3 gram of lipase is the catalyst here. And the reaction was carried out at 37 degrees Celsius at 150 RPM for 24 hours. However, samples were taken during the process of reaction at different time points, and the samples were centrifuged at 7 RPM for 2 to 3 minutes to separate the biodiesel layer with the layer of glycerin and water. Then the biodiesel layer was analyzed for biodiesel production using the thin layer chromatography method. Analysis of the biodiesel production. We have carried out two analyses for biodiesel production. First is quantitative and second is quantitative. And for qualitative analysis of biodiesel synthesis, we performed the layer chromatography. Sample from the reaction mixture were taken at different time points and they were coated into silica gel TNC plates. The plates were run using a solvent system as mentioned below. The spots of the leftover reactants and products formed during the reaction were visualized by implementing the TNC plates in iodine chamber. This solvent system was used to run the spots of the reaction mixture onto the TNC plates. It is comprised of three chemicals: petroleum ether, diethyl ether, acetic acid in the ratio of 45:50:1. And quantitative analysis. Quantitative determination of biodiesel synthesis by the selected lipase was performed by titrating the leftover fatty acids. That is the fatty acids which did not react with the oil with 0.1 normal annual solution. Similarly, the fatty acids present in the control experiment done without lipase were also titrated. The volume of sodium hydroxide consumed in test was subtracted from the volume of annuals consumed in titrating the control. The separated value was obtained was used to calculate the percentage conversion of oils to biodiesel. Now, this biodiesel production, we have carried out some optimization experiments also. And we studied the effect of three parameters. The first is molar ratio of potency related to methanol. Second is the effect of temperature on biodiesel production. And third is the effect of enzyme concentration on biodiesel production. This is the result of structural taking the effect of different molar ratios of methanol. Actually, it is oil to methanol in biodiesel production. These are different ratios of oil to methanol, 3:1 to 1:3. And biodiesel produced was quantitated, and this was used to get the yield of the biodiesel. So we can see at a molar ratio of 3:1, we could get 98% conversion. However, the yield of biodiesel was less. It was only 4.5 grams per hour. At 2:1 ratio, we could get higher yield of biodiesel. However, the conversion was less. At still 1:1 ratio, we get the highest yield of biodiesel, that is 0.17. And here 96% conversion was obtained. On the converse, on the other hand, when we increase the concentration of methanol as compared to the oil, we got these results at a ratio of 1:2, and we got a conversion of yield of 0.165. This conversion, however, was very less. It was only 21%. And when we still increase the methanol ratio to oil, that is 1:3, here the yield again decreased and conversion was also very less. And these results have been compared to the biodiesel production using the commercial enzymes like Monosite 235, which is an immobilized enzyme obtained from the Candida antarctica. And this is lipozyme RM. This is also an immobilized enzyme obtained from Rhizomycin. In these cases also, with the increasing concentration of methanol, the conversion was decreasing. The conversion, that is the production of the yield of biodiesel, was decreasing. The reason for this observation is that the lipase as such is not very much stable to the methanol, because methanol is a polar solvent, and this solvent actually pinches the water molecules which are present near the active site of the enzyme lipase, and thereby making it deactivating the enzyme, thereby decreasing the activity of the enzyme. So we have to take care of using the optimal amount of methanol, but which should not exceed to that extent, which will result in the deactivation of the enzyme during the reaction process. Next is the effect of different reaction temperatures of biodiesel. Here we have evaluated different temperatures, that is reaction temperature on the production of biodiesel, and we see with the increasing temperature, the yield of biodiesel has also increased. We can see here at 55 degrees Celsius, we have obtained the maximum conversion of oils and biodiesel, that is 99%. However, at 60 degrees Celsius, there was again a decline in biodiesel conversion. So the reason behind this is that with the increasing temperature, we know that the rate of reaction increases. That is very well known. However, with the increasing temperature, the enzyme structure, which is made up of protein, the energy of those molecules is also increasing with the increasing temperature, and thereby they tend to move away from one another, and this results in unfolding of the enzyme. Thereby, the activity of the enzyme also decreases. So, temperature has to be balanced. It should not be beyond the optimal tolerance of the enzyme. The temperature which can be tolerated by the enzyme. Otherwise, the reaction will not go in the arid side. Now, influence of temperature on enzymatic biodiesel production has been compared with other enzymes also. Here in this table, we can see fluorescence lipase, wherein oleic acid and propanol and butanol were used as substrates for biodiesel production. Butanol basically is used as a solvent. Here, temperature of 50 to 60 degrees Celsius was found to be optimal, and optimum for free as well as free enzyme as well as immobilized coumalinite. So this observation has been for both free enzyme of Pseudomonas caepacia, Pseudomonas fluorescens, as well as its immobilized enzyme, when immobilization was done on kaolinite. Another enzyme is from Pseudomonas fluorescens, and here this is basically a different strain. So the lipase is having a higher temperature optimum of 70 degrees Celsius, and the substrates used here is also oleic acid and propanol. Propanol is used as a solvent. Higher thermal stability for enzyme immobilized on coumalinite than free enzyme. In this case, the enzyme which was immobilized on coumalinite was more stable as compared to the free enzyme. Then another enzyme is from Novozymes 425, which is a enzyme from Sigma Aldrich, and here the temperature range has been mentioned from 20 to 60 degrees Celsius. The substrates used are soybean oil and rapeseed oil mixture, and the alcohol is methanol. Here, increasing conversion after 6 hours with increasing temperature, but comparable conversions after 24 hours at all temperatures. In this particular case, it has been observed that after the 6 hours of the reaction, when the temperature was gradually increased from 20 to 60 degrees Celsius, there was an increase in the conversion of the biodiesel. Another is again Novozymes 435, but here mixture of enzyme lipases. First is Novozymes 435. This was used along with lipozyme PL and lipozyme RM, and the substrates was soybean oil and ethanol. And the temperature range is 25 to 60 degrees Celsius. Here 60 degrees Celsius is optimal for all enzymes, that is all the three lipases, for highest conversion after 1 hour. While for highest conversion after 24 hours, optimal temperature is 25 degrees Celsius for RN and TL, but 60 degrees Celsius for Novozymes 425. The reason is that as at high temperatures, normally the enzymes does not remain stable for a long time. The reason is that at high temperature, the structure of the enzyme itself starts to unfold. And when the structure of the enzyme starts to unfold, its active site, which is basically responsible for the carrying out the reaction of biodiesel production, it is also, its shape is changing. And once the shape changes, the fitting of the substrate molecule, that is oil as well as alcohol, does not occur as it is required for the optimal conversion of this substrate into the biodiesel. Thereby, at high temperature, the conversion is good for a shorter reaction time, But if low temperature is maintained, the enzyme is its active conformation for a longer duration of time. The reaction can be carried out for a longer time. And this we have compared our result here. Our reaction has been carried out at 55 degrees Celsius. The lipase which we are using is from bacterium known as Bacillus stachylensis. We have used cotton seed oil and methanol as substrates. The highest conversion of 99% was obtained at a temperature of 55 degrees Celsius. Different concentration of enzyme in participation was also observed. So in the column one, we have used different concentration of enzyme. The rate of enzyme, we can say we have started from 0.1 gram to 0.5 gram, and biodiesel produced in grams is also shown here, and biodiesel yield is also shown, and conversion is also shown. So we can see from here from this table that at a 0.3 gram of the enzyme, when we use 0.3 gram of enzyme in the reaction mixture, we could get a 99%. However, upon further increasing the concentration of enzyme, there was no increase in the conversion of the substrates to biodiesel beyond 99%. The reason is that 0.3% is that concentration at which the enzyme, the substrate molecules which are there, they have been completely utilized by the enzyme. However, on further increasing the enzyme concentration, because the substrate concentration has not been increasing correspondingly, the conversion is not increasing because all the substrate have been occupied by 0.3 gram of the enzyme. So further increasing the concentration of enzyme will not result in any further increase in the conversion rate. However, 99% of conversion itself is near 100%. This is a result from two other enzymes like enzyme and enzyme 35, which have been discussed here to compare this result with other result. In this first graph, we see in the case of this lipozyme, enzyme 35 enzyme, at a concentration of 1% gram, maximum conversion of biodiesel has been obtained, and after that there is no further increase in the conversion of substrates to biodiesel by even when the concentration of enzyme has been increased to 9. Similar has been, these are the result of two alcohols actually. In the first case, we are discussing the result of methanol, and in the second case, we are using ethanol. In both cases, we can see there are similar kind of results. After 1 gram weight percent of the enzyme, then when we use 1 gram weight percent of enzyme in the reaction mixture, the maximum possible conversion was obtained. However, upon further increasing the concentration of the enzyme, there was no further increase in the biodiesel yield. However, this is in the case of lipozyme RM, we did not see this observation. Here, with increasing concentration of the enzyme, there is an increase in the conversion of the substrates to biodiesel. So, similar in both the cases, whether it is methanol or ethanol. So this is a typical analysis of the biodiesel which was produced. This is in the control. We can see the spot for monoline, diolene. Monoline is basically a monoglyceride, diolene is a diglyceride, folic acid is a free fatty acid, and this is a trialene spot. And this is our reaction powders. This is our monoglyceride, diglyceride. This is triglyceride and methyl acid with biodiesel, which is showing here as a flat spot. This is another aspect of our research work, wherein we are using algae from wastewater. This is a wastewater pond in which algae is growing, and using this centrifuge, we are collecting the algal biomass. This is basically a centrifuge which is used for separating milk fat from the milk. So this is what we have used, and this is And here, after the centrifugation process is over, we are removing the biomass from the rotor of the centrifuge. So we have used a locally available substitute centrifuge, which is normally used in for the purpose of separation of milk fat from the milk. And this is a kind of continuous centrifuge which can be used to collect a good quantity of the amount of algal biomass from the wastewater bodies. That is basically a sewage treatment plant which is located near the vicinity of our university. So these are my students who are opening the rotor to get the algal biomass out of it. This centrifuge is actually composed of a number of plates. You can see the algal biomass is accumulated at different plates between the plates. So they are putting the plates and trying to collect the algal biomass into a plastic bag. So the algal biomass basically has accumulated on the inner surface of the rotor. This is how good amount of algal biomass has been recovered, has been obtained by centrifuging wastewater treatment plant. We can say with the available resources, we try to separate algae from the water body. After the algal biomass which we have obtained by the process centrifugation, we dry it under natural light, that is the sunlight, and this plate is having the dried powder of the algal biomass, which my student is now putting into a thimble to extract oil out of it, to extract the algal oil. This is how we are extracting oil from the algal biomass. This is the dry algal biomass which has been put into the thimble, and this is a reflux system. And the solvent which we have used is hexane. So the hexane is extracting oil out of the algal biomass, and it is refluxed into the same system, and unless the system operates for 2 years, during which time the complete extraction of oil occurs from the algal biomass. This is the cottonseed oil, raw cotton, sorry, the spent the used waste cottonseed oil, which by after enzymatic biodiesel production has been converted into this upper layer is of ester methyl ester, that is biodiesel, and this lower denser layer is of glycerol. This is the biodiesel produced by an enzymatic method using the cottonseed oil, and we have compared it with commercial biodiesel. And we have observed during the winter season, this commercial biodiesel was getting solidified, whereas our biodiesel, which has been derived from cottonseed oil, it was still in the liquid form. The probable reason behind this may be that this biodiesel might have been produced from saturated fatty acid. Saturated fatty acids normally they get solidified at room temperature, but cotton is unsaturated fatty acid, and it remains liquid even at room temperature. So the problem of solidification was not observed in the case of this biodiesel produced using the cotton seed oil. After the production of biodiesel, with the help of this engineering college Bikaner, we have evaluated our biodiesel for engine performance also. So this is the thermal lab of engineering college Bikaner, wherein evaluation of biodiesel produced by us was carried out. And the biodiesel was evaluated for following parameters: torque, brake power, brake thermal efficiency, brake specific fuel consumption, mechanical efficiency, and exhaust gas temperature. These are our results. Torque, moment of force, or turning effect is the rotational equivalent of linear force, a force that tends to cause rotation. This is the measurement of rotation which is caused by this diesel to the engine. And these are our results. From this graph, you can see this blue line is the graph for the fossil fuel diesel, and this is the different blends of our diesel with the fossil fuel diesel. B10 is the blend wherein 10% of our biodiesel has been used, and here we are increasing the concentration of biodiesel. Here 20%, 30%, 40%. So up to 40% of biodiesel has been used, and you can see the performance which is based on torque is, in case of our biodiesel, it is very much comparable to the results which were obtained using the fossil fuel diesel. So from this parameter, our diesel is also as good as the fossil fuel diesel. Another parameter is brake power. The power is defined as the rate of doing work and is equal to and linear velocity of the product of torque and angular velocity. Thus, the measuring power involves the measurement of force, of torque, as well as speed. The power delivered by an engine at the output shaft is called brake power. It is given by this particular formula, where N is RPM, P is torque, W is weight in Newton, and R is radius in meters. So here also again, our different blends of biodiesel has been compared with the fossil fuel diesel, and here also you can see the graphs are perfectly coinciding. Then another parameter is brake thermal efficiency. Brake thermal efficiency of the engine indicates the fraction of fuel engine converted to useful power output. which is typically used for evaluating the performance of the engine. It is observed that PT is due to the reduction in friction losses and increases in brake power with the increase in load on the engine. Overall efficiency of the engine is given by the brake thermal efficiency. Brake thermal efficiency is the brake power to the engine. So this is how the brake thermal efficiency is calculated. It is basically a ratio of brake power to the engine, and this is how we calculate it. And here also we can see this fossil-based biodiesel. The increasing concentration, the increasing blends of our biodiesel, the results are very much comparable. We can see here also. Besides for some deviations at the terminal side of these graphs. So from the brake thermal efficiency, point to brake thermal efficiency also, the diesel is the biodiesel is a comparable to that of the conventional fossil-based diesel. Now, brake specific fuel consumption. Specific fuel consumption is defined as the amount of fuel consumed per unit of power developed per hour. It is a clear indication of the efficiency with which the power from fuel is obtained. Brake specific fuel consumption is determined on the basis of brake power output of the engine. In engine tests, the fuel consumption is measured as a flow rate. It is mass flow per unit time, and it measures how efficiently an engine is used using the fuel supplied to produce work. This is how it is calculated. And here also, you can see the results obtained with the different brands of the biodiesel are comparable to that of the diesel engine. But here, one important thing can be noted: brake specific fuel consumption is in our biodiesel case is less as compared to that of the diesel. Sorry. This B30 blend has some deviation as compared to other blends. Other blends are perfectly coinciding with the diesel, with the conventional diesel as compared to the B30. And mechanical efficiency. Mechanical efficiency is the ratio of brake horsepower delivered power to the indicated horsepower power provided to the piston. The heat energy which is converted to power and utilized to drive the motor is called indicated power. The mechanical efficiency is a measure of effectiveness of the system, and it can increase or decrease the load. So from this graph also we can observe that obtained with the different blends of biodiesel for this particular mechanical efficiency are also very much comparable to the results obtained with conventional diesel. Then we have exhaust gas temperature. Exhaust gas temperature increases as the load increases in diesel engine because more fuel is injected into the combustion chamber. That is, fuel consumption increases. The exhaust gas temperature gives a good insight on the amount of waste heat released with exhaust gases and also indication of good combustion in the combustion chamber. It depicts the status of combustion inside combustion chamber. Here we can see again P30 is having slight deviation. However, other blends are showing a good correlation with the results obtained for the conventional fossil fuel based diesel. Now again we have come to the end of this presentation, so we can recollect some of the advantages of biodiesel. Biodiesel is it reduces greenhouse gases emission. It helps domestic and rural companies so that we do not depend on the foreign countries for fuel requirement. It provides very low cost fuel. Here we can say at low cost fuel, if we don't say very low cost. Create regular employment for the people, and easily available waste oils are there in a city like Bikaner and other cities also where food industries are so many. And it also helps in reduction of air pollution and also reduce the labor. This is an acknowledgement. This work is sponsored by Science and Engineering Research Board, New Delhi. This is a collaborating work with the Department of Microbiology, Maharaja University, Bikaner, and Department of Mechanical Engineering and Department of Chemistry. We also totally heard. Thanks, extend our thanks to Honorable Vice Chancellor, the then Vice Chancellor of the University, Professor Bhagirath Singh, and the present Principal of Government Engineering College, Dr. Jayprakash Babu, for patronizing this one. Now, I am also thankful to Dr. Prabir Purohit, who is an active collaborator of us, and he is also helping us in analysis of biodiesel and doing some other collaborative projects also on enzymes like keratinase and other enzymes. So this is what we have concluded out of this study. The objectives of this study was to utilize low cost feedstock like waste cooking, cottonseed oil for biodiesel production. The use of immobilized lipase enzyme further decrease the cost of production due to its remarkable property of reusability. The enzymatic reaction carried out throughout the study made the process eco-friendly as compared to the acid catalysis and economically beneficial as compared to the alkali catalysis, as it eliminated the soap formation. The optimal conditions for the transestimation reaction were found to be 5% enzyme concentration, 8 hours reaction time at 37 degrees Celsius reaction temperature, and 150 RPM of vegetation rate. So this is my students. Thanks for your patience, patient hearing of the
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for this informative session. Now I request all the participants, if they have any query, may please directly ask to the sir or write in the chat box. Please, participants, go ahead.
May I ask one thing to Gautam ji? I am Abha Jaiman from Ahmedabad. Sir, I am not a microbiology student or whatever, maybe. I am a housewife simply. Literature student. मैं actually enzyme बना रही थी. May I ask directly to Gautam ji?
Yes,
वो मैंने YouTube में से पढ़ के बनाया था how to make enzyme at home अपने गार्डनिंग के लिए. तो उसमें रेशियो दिया हुआ था 1:3:10 का कि आप कोई भी एंजाइम बनाइए या तो आप छिलकों से बना सकते हैं या फ्लावर्स से बना सकते हैं. तो उसमें शुरू में जो मैंने 2 एंजाइम्स बनाए वो बहुत अच्छे बने. उसमें ये था कि आप 90 डेज में वो पूरा तैयार होता है और 1 मंथ आपको वो थोड़ा सा बॉटल में करके उसकी पूरी टेक्निक दे रखी थी. तो वो बने मेरे, लेकिन अभी उसके बाद जो मैंने ट्राई किए वो उतने अच्छे नहीं बन पाए. तो इज इट द कॉज इज द रेशियो और व्हाटएवर, क्या कॉज है कि वो एंजाइम नहीं बन पा रहे, उनमें फंगस लग जाती है कभी कभी?
देखिए इसमें ऐसा है कि एंजाइम्स जो है दे आर प्रोड्यूस्ड बाय माइक्रो ऑर्गेनिजम्स.
या
तो माइक्रो ऑर्गेनिजम्स बेसिकली दे इंक्लूड बैक्टीरिया, फंजाई, microalgae, and then we also protozoa and other microorganisms. But mainly the microbes which are used for the production of enzymes for various purposes, it may be for agriculture, for industrial or waste management purpose. They are produced by fungi and bacteria. These are the predominantly used ones. So the reasons may be many actually. Maybe this material which
maybe the ratio, हाँ 1:3:10 का रेशो था. जैसे आप सबसे 1 यदि पार्ट गुड़ लेते हैं या कोई भी वैसा, हाँ, और आपने दूसरा जो पार्ट है वो लिया, मतलब 3 पार्ट जो है 1:3 आपने कोई भी पत्तियां या जिसका आप बना रहे हैं एंजाइम वो, और उसमें 1 लीटर पानी यानी 10 1:3:10 मीन्स पानी वो. तो यदि आपने 2 लीटर की बोतल ली तो उसमें आप उसमें सब दे रखा था. खैर मैंने पढ़ के बनाया था तो उसमें 2 बार मेरा बहुत अच्छा बना. मतलब आफ्टर 90 डेज इट वाज यूजफुल. और वो उन्होंने बताया था कि इतना यूजफुल है कि इवन आप यू कैन यदि आप पीने के लिए भी उसको यूज करें तो वो अच्छा रहता है बहुत. यदि आप पीने के पानी में भी उसे डालेंगे तो वो शुद्ध ही करता है, एक्चुअली पानी की प्योरीफाई करता है वो एंजाइम.
सर एक चीज मैं जानना चाह रहा था, दूध के अलावा जो आपने दिया 3 पार्ट्स, वो क्या चीज थी?
जिसका आप एंजाइम बना रहे हैं वो, जैसे आपने फ्लावर्स का बनाया, किसी की पत्तियों का बनाया तो 1:3.
अच्छा.
किसी भी चीज का आपने बनाया, यदि छिलकों का बनाया, या तो मैंने शुरू में फूलों की पत्तियों से बनाया था, जो पीले वाले फूल होते हैं जो आजकल बहुत उनको बनाया, उनका बनाया था.
और नेक्स्ट टाइम जो आपने बनाया था तब
तो बहुत अच्छा बना था. जो 1 साल हो गया मैंने उससे वो बनाया था. उसमें ये था कि आपको 1 मंथ तक उसकी बॉटल को बस हल्का सा खोलना है, क्योंकि गैस प्रोड्यूस होती है, उसमें से गैस बनती है,
हाँ वो
तो वो
CO2
थोड़ा सा
बनती
गैस
है।
को, जी, तो वो गैस को रिलीज करना होता है, अदरवाइज वो बॉटल फट जाएगी उसकी गैस से। तो मैंने बनाया उसको डेडिकेटेडली, और बहुत अच्छा बना। और आफ्टर 19 डेज जब मैंने उसको पूरा यूज किया तो
जी।
उसमें बहुत अच्छी स्मेल आ रही थी। तो
हम्म।
वो उन्होंने बताया आपको किस तरीके से यूज करना है, आप उसको एज ए फर्टिलाइजर उसमें भी यूज कर सकते हैं। क्योंकि
जी जी।
आजकल मैं बिल्कुल बिल्कुल नो वेस्टेज, मतलब वेस्टेज कर ही नहीं रही। आजकल मैं कंपोस्ट भी घर ही पे बना रही हूँ।
हम्म।
मतलब मेरे यहाँ वेस्टेज आपको इस टाइप का नहीं मिलेगा, कोई भी
जी
आपका।
जी।
तो वो सब में मेरा सक्सेस चल रहा है। लेकिन एंजाइम्स अभी जो दो, एक बार फिर मैंने नींबू के छिलकों से बनाया, जो
अच्छा अच्छा अच्छा।
उसके जो होते हैं, वो मैंने सोचा बहुत अच्छा लगेगा, क्योंकि नींबू का और भी अच्छा स्मेल भी आएगी। लेकिन नींबू का मेरा उतना सक्सेस नहीं हो पाया। उसमें
उसका
बाद में
एक रीजन जो मुझे समझ में आ रहा है वो ये हो सकता है कि नींबू यूज करने पे क्या है कि इसका पीएच कम हो गया होगा। आपका जो सॉल्यूशन है ना फर्मेंटेशन का, जो मीडियम आपने बनाया है,
जी,
तो लो पीएच पे क्या है कि फर्मेंटेशन वाले बैक्टीरिया उसमें बेटर तरीके से ग्रो नहीं कर पाते।
अच्छा
तो उनको इनिशियल जो पीएच होता है वो न्यूट्रल मतलब 7 के आसपास चाहिए होता है। तो बाद
अच्छा।
में वो
लेकिन
अपनी एक्टिविटी के थ्रू जो एसिड प्रोड्यूस करते हैं उससे उसका पीएच डाउन होता है फर्मेंटेशन मीडियम का। तो ये एक रीजन हो सकता है लेकिन फंजाई जो है ना, फंगस जो ग्रो कर गई थी, फंगस क्या है कि लो पीएच पे भी ग्रो कर जाती है।
अच्छा,
तो आपने बैक्टीरियल
देखिए,
फर्मेंटेशन का जो प्रोसेस है वो प्रॉपर्ली हो नहीं पाया उसमें, क्योंकि
जी
बैक्टीरिया
जी,
ग्रो कर
वही
नहीं पाए उसमें।
वही मैं जानना चाह रही थी कि मेरी प्रोसेस तो सेम रही, रेशियो
हाँ,
में गड़बड़ी हो गई, या मतलब 1:3:10 का, या व्हाट, मतलब क्या हुआ ऐसा जो।
रेशियो की तो मुझे गड़बड़ नहीं लग रही, लेकिन वो जो आपने जो मटेरियल चेंज किया उसका इफेक्ट मुझे लग रहा है इसमें पड़ा होगा।
अच्छा अच्छा, अभी खैर मैंने वापस बनाया है, फिर फूलों का ही बनाया है अभी, मैंने कल
जी
ही
जी
उसमें है, उसकी डेट भी
जी।
लिख दी है, क्योंकि पूरा 90 दिन लगते हैं उसमें पूरी तरीके से
अच्छा
बनने में
अच्छा।
उसमें। 1 महीने तो आपको उस बॉटल को छोड़ना पड़ेगा, वो गैस एकदम से बनेगी, फिर वो 90 डेज लेता है
जी जी
तरीके
जी।
से टाइम बनने में। तो चूंकि ये टॉपिक मैंने आज ही देखा, और मैंने सत्संग के उसमें ही देखा था, इसीलिए फिर मैंने आप, ये नहीं मालूम था कि यू आर द स्पीकर।
अच्छा अच्छा।
मैंने जस्ट बात करी है आपके जो ऑर्गेनाइजर है, तो उन्होंने कहा नहीं मैं रजिस्टर कर सकती हूँ, क्योंकि उसमें है तो स्टूडेंट्स पार्टिसिपेट कर रहे हैं, मैं तो किसी भी कैटेगरी में नहीं आती, बस मेरा खुद का बहुत इंटरेस्ट है एनवायरमेंटल
Hello.
उसमें।
खैर
Ma'am,
ये
this
बहुत
is
अच्छा
your
लगा मुझे
query
जान के कि
answered?
आप माइक्रोबायोलॉजी को मतलब प्रैक्टिकली डे टू डे लाइफ में यूज कर रहे हैं।
हाँ, मैं उसको डे टू डे लाइफ में यूज कर रही हूँ। आप हमारे आइए, हमारे यहाँ जो दवाओं के रैपर भी होते हैं, इवन वी डोंट थ्रो देम।
अच्छा।
Hello,
जी, और मैं
ma'am.
दोनों उन दवाइयों को जो
Hello.
शॉप है उस पे दे देते हैं हम लोग।
जी जी।
Ma'am, if your query is answered, then we please move to next question.
श्योर श्योर।
Yes,
ओके
sir.
ओके, गौतम जी
Yes, sir.
मैं आपका बाद में, ओके
जी जी जी
क्योंकि
ठीक है
Yeah,
वेलकम।
thank you.
जो अभी जो अपन डिस्कस कर रहे थे, whatever the my question is there, whether the role of chemical catalyst is important when we do the experiment with biocatalyst. जैसा कि अभी आप बोल रहे थे कि इसमें पीएच का रोल जबरदस्त होगा, उसकी वजह से ये सारा सिस्टम डिस्टर्ब हो गया। जब हम बायोगैस का जब हमने प्रिपरेशन किया, तो काऊ डंग, उसके साथ में और जितने भी जो अपने वेस्ट मटेरियल्स थे, वेस्ट मटेरियल, एग्रीकल्चर वेस्ट, whatever the vegetable waste, whatever the जो meat waste, non-veg waste, so different experiments we have performed. So in those particular case, the preparation of biogas by these waste, so the retention period is reduced. So how these correlate the biocatalyst as well as chemical catalyst?
Sir, in that biogas production system, we are using cow dung. Is it? We are using cow dung for that system.
Okay sir.
So cow dung itself is
जो सर अभी जो क्वेश्चन जो आ रहा था अभी मैम का,
हाँ
तो उसमें आपने बताया कि पीएच को कोरिलेट करना है।
पीएच
So
का
that
सर हाँ उसका एक्चुअली
तो
क्या
इसका
है कि
मतलब ये हुआ कि कुछ जो अब केमिकल्स उसमें ऐड करें
केमिकल्स
एज ए कैटलिस्ट।
हाँ 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 बिल्कुल एक्चुअली what happens is microorganisms are specific with respect to pH of the medium in which they grow, which they are cultivated or they are produced. So we have to, it depends on the property of the microorganism itself and the source of microorganism. Normally the bacteria which are present in this our soil, they can go in the pH range of near to 7, slightly below 7 and slightly above 7. But the microorganisms which are there in our outer, they are adapted to grow at low pH conditions because the pH of our intestine and this is also less. It can be around 5 or 4. So those bacteria, because they have developed in that environment, they are adapted to that pH. So when you want to use those bacteria, then you have to keep the medium of that particular medium. Say for example, if you are going to produce biogas using the waste materials, agricultural waste, then you will have to adjust the pH using some chemical also. You will adjust the pH to 4 or 5. So that pH will be more conducive for the growth of bacteria which are there, and they will have a better process of fermentation. So pH definitely has a role to play, and the medium in which we want to grow the microorganisms, we have to adjust its pH to that level which is suitable for the growth of microorganisms. So that is
those chemicals as a catalyst or whatever the buffering.
no, the chemicals are not acting as catalysts there. They are simply adjusting the pH of the medium so that the microorganism now can adjust in that environment and grow. The microorganism will grow and it will produce the enzymes. Biocatalysts will be produced by the microorganism that will act on your substrates and convert it into a more useful product. Say, for example, biogas in the case of biogas plants. The
So
chemicals
which
are
will be
normally
better, the aerobic or anaerobic?
in the
In
biogas
case of
plant, anaerobic microorganisms are better. Anaerobic bacteria are better because there ultimately the environment itself becomes anaerobic. Under that anaerobic condition, the microorganisms which do not need oxygen, they will grow and further degrade the agricultural waste into simpler forms and carbon dioxide will be produced.
Hello.
Okay, sir.
Hello.
Okay. Yes, sir. Go on, sir. Please go ahead.
Hello.
Yes, Makwana sir, बोलिए.
Sir. Good evening.
Good evening, sir. Good evening.
Good evening. Thank you very much for providing a valuable information on lipase and biodiesel with less impact. I want to that is biodiesel equal efficiency in heavy duty machines as well low duty machine?
That has to be evaluated actually because ये जो बायोडीजल है इसको इंजन के ऊपर हमें चला के देखना पड़ता है and the engine which we have used that is used in medium power vehicles we can say. So whether it will be having equal efficiency or but that can also be observed from the graph that when we increase the load, then also the biodiesel is performing equal to fossil fuel diesel. So maybe heavy machines also.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. And as I see, there is no more question in the chat box. So thank you for this valuable session and talk. Now I request HD Chalak sir. HD Chalak sir, please share his view, sir. Share your view, sir. Chalak sir, can you hear me? Okay, now just move to Praveen sir. Praveen sir, please conclude the session.
Thank you, Ravi. And it was really a very nice, interesting, and informative session presented by Dr. Gautam Kumar Meghvanshi. He has an excellent command over the work on the enzyme technology as depicted by his research papers and all. And what he has tried to present here is that the environment-friendly application of the biodiesel production. I was wondering while looking at the questions, when a question related to catalyst was used, actually, see, catalysts, which are the synthetic substances which are produced and are actually non-biodegradable. And when you are using an enzyme, you are actually working with the environment-friendly condition where you are using a biodegradable source for the production of the biodiesel itself, completing the carbon cycle. So it was really very nice to see the lecture and the information that is provided. I think all the participants have benefited, and in case of any query, they can directly contact to Gautam sir also or the coordinators also, so that it was a very, very informative session. Thanks to Gautam sir. Thank you very much, sir. Now with this, I think we should now end this session, and thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. And now I request Dr. O.P. Jhakar sir. Jhakar sir, please share your view, sir.
Thank you so much, Dr. Gautam Kumarji, for your very nice and informative session. And you have very well explained the production of biodiesel with the help of waste cooking oil. And we know the waste cooking, plenty of waste cooking oil is available, especially in Bikaner. Bikaner is known for the food industries, and here the so many food industries are available. So the use tonnage of biodiesels are produced every day, and we know that it is not reuse of biodiesel is waste cooking oil is not desirable. So if it is used in production of biodiesel and further it is used in blending with the diesel, then it will be better for our health point of view, as well as it will provide the market for the waste cooking oil also. So it is good. And again, your presentation on the performance analysis of diesel engine with the different blending, and you will find the efficiencies, brake thermal efficiencies, and the exhaust temperature also. And I think this will it's very fruitful, and it may again further can be used for the exhaust gas analysis also with the help of biodiesel, using this biodiesel of waste cooking oil, or maybe NOx reduction also. So it's a good lecture, sir. And thank you so much once again. Thanks all participants for your patience. And thank you once again, Professor Gautam Kumar Meghvanshi ji, and thank you all participants, and thanks to all organizers. Thank you. Over to Dr. Ravi for closing the session. Thank you.
Thanks, Jhakar sir. Thanks.
Now I close the meeting.
Okay.
Okay.